Courage or crazy? Courage to get through life and a whole lot of crazy to survive life. Trapper, Teresa, and Cheryl, your ambassadors of Courage or Crazy. Sharing life with you, uncensored and unfiltered. Real life, real people, real courage, real crazy.
Okay, so Trapper. You know what? I don't think Teresa has heard the story of Granny shooting the chicken off of the truck.
What the hell?
Well,
You know, I love every time I come into
that's,
this room. I never know
that's a
exactly
unique story.
what's
That
going
is
to come
a-
out of anybody's
You know
mouth
what?
here.
Every time I think of you, Trap, not every time, but a lot of times when I think of you, and I try to describe you, because you know I always call you my redneck hillbilly brother from another mother. And when somebody says, "Why do you call him that?" And I'm like, "Because Granny shot a chicken out of off the porch."
Yeah, like people have no fucking clue. Like,
Okay, so
first
tell
of all,
Teresa.
like, there's the pioneer woman, right? She's all glamorous, and my grandmother is like the OG fucking pioneer woman. Like, came to Arizona in a damn covered wagon pioneer, and self-made, right? Successful woman, very conservative, and in her late 80s, completely batshit crazy. And, you know, she's unique that way. And she's a pistol. She's hard to handle, but she's also hard to live without. You know, she's special. But she wanted, you know, back like in her heyday when she used to raise all the pigs and the chickens and the cows, and she needs a damn farm. Of course, you know, when you had a stroke and you're in your 80s and you can't get around, you can't drive, you can't hear, you can't see, you can't cook, can't do shit. That responsibility came upon me. And in building my grandmother's, you know, 57th vision of life here, we got these damn chickens that she wanted and built a chicken coop. And that was great. And they weren't laying eggs. That's because they were chicks. And, you know, you have to explain the birds and the bees to grandma. Like, you know, first of all, your chickens have to fall in love when they come of age. Second of all, then your chickens, they got to fuck. They got to roll around and cockle-doodle-doo, right? And then
Trapper,
they're gonna lay
always.
an egg. And then the hen has to sit on the egg. Then she has to hatch the egg. Then those little baby chicks, they have to grow. And in the process of sharing that wonderful story with my grandmother, who then in turn told me that, you know, I can't be grown and dedicate myself to my kids and my business without my own social life. So I should be out just like the chickens, and, you know, sex is healthy. Well, thank you for that. Sex in 1937 was very different than it is in 2020. And there's a lot of things you can catch just by winking at somebody. But thank you for that encouragement. You know, as I stay in your home in the back bedroom and take care of you, like, who would you like me to have come over? You're going to bed at 7 or 7:30 tonight.
Why is Trapper always with the sex education?
I know.
And then,
He's got such education. But you haven't heard the Granny shooting the chicken yet. Okay, go
Are
ahead.
we going to get there?
then
She's getting there.
Grandma felt that they shouldn't be in their coop because they're getting bigger. She wanted to see them roam around and peck for worms and be out in the irrigation water, you know. Like, I have nothing better to do than irrigate fields and watch chickens with her all day. And that was cute. They roamed around the yard, and we decided to have, you know, a barbecue and a fish fry. That's how fucking country we are.
But you had to have slices of tomato and some fried okra with that too, didn't you?
Yeah, you gotta have your own fresh tomato slices. You gotta have fried okra, not in flour, but in cornmeal, and it's gotta be fried in cast iron. And,
Absolutely.
you can't do hamburgers and hot dogs. You gotta do ribs, and you also gotta do a fish fry.
Absolutely.
Some cornbread. Otherwise, it is not a get together. So we decided to do this. You know, because every year I think it's going to be my grandmother's last year. And I'm pretty sure, like, I know all her documents and everything. I haven't found the contract she signed with the devil to live forever. But it's hidden somewhere. But every year I'm like, this might be her last. Let's all get together. And as we're getting together and all that, I have a relative with a brand new SUV. You know, those long, fancy ones that, like, maybe a fancy Uber would pick you up in. And my grandma's out there, and she's loving it, loving all the grandkids, and, you know, so proud that everyone's doing well since they've leveraged their lives and incomes for all these nice new vehicles. And there's their chickens, and she chases them away because they want to be at the barbecue, and then she chases them away because they're on the vehicles, and then Grandma disappeared for a moment in time, and my grandma's always fucking locked and loaded with something, which is scary at this point in life. If you can't sign your name, you probably shouldn't be pulling a trigger either. But here comes Grandma out the front door while we're on the back, and all we heard was a giant gunshot. And it was my grandmother, who was tired of her fucking chickens all literally shitting on someone's new vehicle. She decided to put the rooster out of his misery and shoot it right off the fucking car, which also included someone's back window where the chicken was.
So what you're saying is it takes courage.
Of my grandmother shooting a chicken,
Right?
and blowing the fuck out of my relative's new SUV.
Right? So Trapper, always the question is, do you think your granny had a lot of courage for doing that, or do you think she was a tad bit crazy for doing that?
I think that's the wrong question.
One, she's batshit fucking crazy. Two, she's courageous as hell, because when this woman has a massive stroke and she can't walk on her own, or, you know, get on the toilet on her own, and can't brush her teeth on her own, and she can't sign her name because her hand won't work. I mean, to get a shotty gun and, I mean, aim and fire, I mean.
Right? And she hit her damn target. I mean, of course the window was in her way, but she hit the damn target. I mean, like, I'm utterly impressed.
You should be concerned. It wasn't that loud. Bitch, put your hearing aids in. It blew the fucking whole neighborhood out.
All right, Trapper, this is another time when I'm going to tell you, you better repent to sweet baby Jesus over this story.
I do. You know, the other day I had to repent to baby Jesus when I was like, dear Santa Claus, like, I don't know where your lap is for me to sit on, but is my grandma going to live forever or what? Like, where's the magic 8-ball? Tell me something, babe. What's going on? And today I'm going to have to repent to baby Jesus again. I mean, they say karma's a bitch, and it was. Yesterday, well, you gals were exchanging 27 messages, by the way, when I finally found my phone.
It's a slow day for us.
It's a
I was
slow
really
day.
busy.
A slow day. The group text is
vehicle
amazing.
over to get it, you know, oil changed as part of the whole warranty package or whatever the hell they sell you. I went across the street to a rural ranch department store and just kind of killing time. And I totally had a fucking grandma moment. Like, I went in, just kind of browsing. I found a Carhartt vest that I felt that I couldn't live without, probably. You know, because I got to go feed all the horses and cows and everything that I'm stuck with. And in the process, I put the vest on, which I sometimes do. You know, I'm not sure if I want it or not. Let me wear this for a minute while I walk the rest of the store. And I walked the store, and in the process, my phone rang, which was a client. They wanted to talk about some networking and communication stuff. I take the call, and they're a little bit in crisis mode. And it was like, okay, I was on the phone and trying to figure out how to do this crisis. And my client does not listen, right? And in the whole mess of things and being on the phone, and I needed to light a cigarette to finish listening and deal with this client who I should have told to fuck off a long time ago. I walked out of the fucking store with the damn vest on, and the thing went off, and they came, and you can't take that. And I'm like innocently, I'm hung up on my client. I'm like, shit, like, innocently, I was not stealing this vest. Like, I just wanted to see how it felt on, so I decided to buy it. You need to take that off. I put my damn phone in the pocket of the vest.
Hey.
When I left, I was sweaty. I was like so sweaty, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to call Tanya and tell her I'm been arrested by the Prescott Valley Police because of shoplifting. I'm not shoplifting. I was trying to see if I looked as good as, you know, Kanye in this Carhartt vest. Could not find my phone anywhere, and I knew I had it in that store. I knew I was on the phone with my client, and I had a panic attack about that whole, you know, I just hung up on my client who, you know, happens to be a CEO of a massive corporation, and they don't really like being hung up on or ignored. Finally, it dawned on me yesterday afternoon, I need to find that vest that I guess apparently tried stealing, and drove all the way from Camp Verde, 40 minutes, back to that damn store, and explained to the, girl who hated her job at the front, my situation earlier. I need to find that one vest. And of course, her response is, well, we sell a lot of them. Bitch, don't tell me you sold it because my phone went in there. Like, it's a $1,400 phone. Did you sell the vest for $1,500? Like, what the fuck? I found my phone.
Yay!
Woo!
Thinking,
Hey.
I just had a grandma moment, and that shit sucked.
Well, better that grandma with a phone
Whoops.
than my most stupid of dropping a phone because I was so distracted, didn't notice I dropped it, and ran over my phone.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't realize that until, I'm going because I'm just in the middle of a move. I was really busy client-wise. Dropped it. Got in the car. Didn't realize I had dropped it. Backed up. Looked for where my phone sits in my car. Realized, oh shit, where's my phone? Pulled back forward. But I'll give that phone credit. It kept ringing and dinging with text messages. I had clients that were in total frenzy that day. But my screen was completely shattered and I couldn't do a damn thing with it. So
Awesome.
there's
Awesome.
that. At least you found it and it
Well, when
wasn't
I finally
broken.
got in touch with my client, he was like, that's not my problem.
Of course,
Well,
because
of
it's
course
never.
not. It's never. I mean, because, in a CEO's perspective, real life does not happen.
Yeah, so my response was, we need to rethink this relationship because I'm exclusive now. Like, I'm not desperate. I don't need to do business with everyone. This might not be working out. And your problem isn't my fucking problem anymore because it's self-inflicted.
Yeah.
So, like,
Trapper's
let's take care
breaking
of the
up
last
with a
retainer
client.
Fuck you. And you got to do that in business sometimes. You got to tell people to fuck off.
Yep.
Because not every opportunity and every person that comes to you is a true opportunity or a good client. And I learned that because I used to represent people that didn't want to pay me, or they wanted to pay me, like, can we pay you $100 a month to do, corporate PR? Like, yeah, because that'll, provide me and my kids enough ramen for the next 30 days. And I quickly learned that I don't get interviewed anymore. Fuck that. Don't ask to meet with me and interview me. I will interview you. If you're a good fit in my portfolio, I will let you know and we can proceed. If not, I will let you know and I will refer you to someone else. But no one's going to goddamn interview me anymore.
Right?
Because I get stuck with
Okay.
shitty people, the people that don't want to pay or they don't want to pay you what you're worth. And I'm like looking outside at their boat and I'm like, well, you're not going to pay me what I'm worth, but
Yeah, exactly. I
you're
get
going to
it.
get on there with your dad bod on that boat? Like, come on.
Yeah.
No shame.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The same people that pull up to your business or pull up to an event and they get out of, a $200,000 vehicle and then they want to start telling you about
How expensive you are.
how expensive your services are or I can't pay your invoice right now. Well, of course you can't because you're paying for that $200,000 vehicle. So, you can't pay us peons of the world.
I can't pay your invoice right now, but could you please stop sending me an email reminder about the fact that I owe you?
Yeah, you're clogging up my email
You're clogging
system.
up my email system, which needs to be
I
reserved
had this
for.
lady that launched this new business in Arizona, and it's a good business. It is a good industry. It's emerging. People are making literally millions of dollars a year doing what she's doing. And I aligned with it from a dear colleague and one of my longtime best friends. And I did it because, one, I'm fucking bored. And two, I thought, let's give back. I used to be an addict myself. I needed energy, so I'd snort anything I could. Now I don't. And, thank you, baby Jesus, for sobriety. But I thought, this is a good way to give back. And this bitch's agreement was, let's get through March. We'll start an agreement in March. You recruit clients, you facilitate, you do all the notes, and here's what I'm going to do. Profit. I will take 60, you take 40. You run that whole facility over there. Do your thing. So we do that. Okay? March comes, and she has some payment issues. April came, and her attorney was reviewing the contract we put together. That she already signed, by the way.
Of
So that
course.
was just a lying excuse. May came, and she was sick. She might have been exposed to COVID. Okay, we've all had COVID. We've lost people to COVID. I understand that. June got here, and she refused to get on a conference call, wouldn't return emails, showed up at that bitch's office and was like, yo, we made an agreement, and in good faith, you signed it. What are we doing? And her thing was she has to recoup all her investment first. That's not how business works. You recoup your investment over a period of time, right? I think, Cheryl, in your world, you call that annualizing or something.
Well, something
whatever the hell it's called. You spread it out over time, right? You don't invest $100,000 and you're supposed to like recoup that investment like right away. You know, you usually pay your employees and all that first.
Correct.
And then she said there was nothing left. And I'm like, you bought 3 homes in Scottsdale and 2 Mercedes-Benz's vans to haul clients. Like, you couldn't have just bought like the Ford Econo line like the rest of the fucking world? And I had to walk away, you know?
Right.
And I'm like, really, you have no money to even just take care of us in any way, right? I mean, in good faith, be like, we can't do this, but here's my situation. Just be honest. Took her 4 months to finally get to that point. I had to show up and be rowdy in her office.
Yeah.
And then, you know, at the end of the day, it's because she's recouping her investment and she's living this lavish lifestyle. And, you know, she forgot about the people that are actually generating revenue for her business. And I had to step away.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? I'm not driving the Mercedes-Benz anymore. I'm driving this, and you can drive the same thing. Come on.
Yeah.
Take care of your people first. And over time, you'll grow your business into, you know, owning 5 homes in Scottsdale and, you know, driving that Mercedes. In the meantime, take care of your employees, take care of your clients, take care of the people that you're in business with. So, and I cut my loss. I walked away.
Yeah. Yeah,
Things
that's
like
happened
that
a lot
are
of times. The small business owners, you kind of, you know, when we open a small business, we're like, got to take every client, got to take every client, got to take, you know, I need the money, I got to do it, got to do
Oh,
it,
yeah.
got to do it. And then as we mature as business owners, we realize that it's perfectly okay to fire clients. It's perfectly okay because
Yes.
they don't align with our same business beliefs. They don't appreciate and value us as not only as human beings, but as business owners, and the fact that we also have families to feed and support. You know, so it's perfectly okay to say you're fired and move on. And
It's also okay. I had it was last year. I had a client. So I get a lot of clients who feel that I need to align with their beliefs. I work with a lot of nonprofits. I work with a lot of things of that nature. So there's a certain level that I need to be respectful of because they're putting a public face out there.
Right.
However, I won't back down on my own beliefs because they are my beliefs. And it was, as you know, Cheryl, I have worked Pride down in Bisbee pretty much every year for about as long as I've been in business.
Right.
And I post about it because it's fun. I enjoy it. It is
a great
something.
weekend.
This year I was sad because this was the first year in 10 years I didn't get down to Pride because of my wrist. I couldn't hold my camera. But I literally last year wake up on a Sunday. I had pulled a 16-hour day on Friday, a 16-hour day on Saturday. I'm exhausted. I am having to dig so deep to even get up and moving because I've got to get in my car. I've got to get back down there because I have to work again. And I'm going through my email. I'm in a fog, in a haze. I'm drinking my coffee. It's like, please, sorry, trap your phrase. Baby Jesus, please make this coffee help me. And it's an email from a client that I've been working with. And I read through it. And it says, essentially in a nutshell, you know, due to the fact that your belief system does not seem to match up with our own, and you are a supporter of something that we don't support, until you can bring your beliefs into alignment with ours, we don't feel we can work with you any longer. And I sit there, and immediately, I don't need the coffee. I'm awake.
You're awake at this point.
I'm awake now because you're firing me because you don't support. That's great that you don't. I'm not asking you to. It was the first time. Usually, everything since I started, I get an email that I give it 48 hours to reply. And it was that moment it hit me. It's like, I have been in business for 9 years now, officially, and it was ironically on the date of my being a business. I've officially been in business for 9 years. I have an instant reply for you. And it was the first time ever I literally just replied, fuck off.
There you go.
And
Amen,
that was
sister.
it. That was, I typed fuck off, hit send, and I'm done.
Yep.
Because, which then led to a phone conversation because, I mean, she called me immediately. And it was like, I can't believe you said, well, get over your shock. I did. I work for you in this way. You don't get to tell me who my client base is.
Exactly.
You just don't. And if you don't
Exactly.
like who my client base is, then it's a very big sign. You need to find somebody else. But it took me 9 years. Prior to that, I probably been, oh no, please no.
Right.
But there
But
was,
isn't it funny?
it hit.
Isn't
No,
it
fuck
funny
off.
that she basically said "fuck off" to you?
Mhm.
I mean, she might have not
No,
used those
Not
two
use
words,
those words.
but she basically said "fuck off" to you.
Mm-hmm.
But when you said it back,
It was,
it was a
Instant.
big deal and offended and
Oh,
instant.
definitely.
I'm going to call you to say how
yes.
offensive that was.
Well, and including during the phone conversation, she's like, well, you know, maybe I'll just take this to social media. Go for it. Take it to social media. Keep in mind, I have the original email you sent.
Right.
I will not think twice about sharing that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because you essentially said, and that's what it boiled down to. You essentially said the exact same thing to me. Why is it okay for you to speak to me in that way? But the moment I, as a business owner, stand up and say, no, I don't need to tolerate that. It suddenly, oh, that was so inappropriate. And how could you be so rude? And I thought you were better than that. Well, I don't know who you thought you were dealing with, but this is who I am. And fuck off. I'm going to hold with that one.
Yep, exactly. I totally agree. I mean, as business owners, we sometimes, I mean, it's our right to fire people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we always, or should always, I mean, perhaps try to do it in a fashion that is professional.
Very nice way.
In a very nice way. But every now and then, you know what? As a business owner, it doesn't make us unhuman.
Mm-mm.
You know, we are human with feelings as business owners. And, you know, when we have done the very, very best we can for clients,
Mm-hmm.
and just because there's one part of something that I do or say or believe in or not believe in, and you want to judge me over that one incident in all the years of me doing all the things that I've done for my business, for other people, donated time,
Mm-hmm.
you know, went the extra mile. Sometimes, honestly, you know, I mean, fuck off is needed because you know what? Calling somebody a poopy head doesn't have the same effect.
No, no, it doesn't.
It doesn't have the same effect. So sometimes it's just the way it is. I mean, we kind of have to do it sometimes.
Yep.
I mean, it's just one of those things. You know, Trap, we have gone through many, many scenarios with each other over the years, and I think it's funny that, you know, we've met in different circumstances, we've all wore different hats, I think, over the years, because, you know, when I first met you, you were the chamber president, correct, in Camp Verde?
Correct.
Yeah. You had prior to that was that prior or after when you went to the casino?
I started my actual marketing career was getting my degree at Cliff Castle Casino.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then I went over to the Chamber of Commerce, and then from there I went into my own business.
Gotcha. And then you had a brief stint as an insurance agent too, correct?
Yeah, I did some insurance for a while. I thought that I wanted to help people in a way that I felt like would help them prepare for life. And I found that I really hated that business. I hated that industry.
Amen.
Yeah, I mean, I've walked away from jobs and or business opportunities and stuff, and you know, you were deeply involved years and years ago when I was part of a partnership, and you know, it's amazing to me that you know, sometimes you have to fire the partner too. I mean, it's not necessarily just the customers. Sometimes you have to fire. It's the partner. That,
And I received my education, my degree in marketing, communications, public affairs, and after I left like the Chamber of Commerce, and the casino, um, um, marketing and gaming industry, I realized that I definitely wanted to do something for myself. Right? I didn't want an employer, and I really wanted to help people, and I thought that was like really a great way of helping people. But what I really realized was that I hated the business, I hated the industry, and it wasn't my strength. Right? Like my strength was more public relations, public affairs, marketing. And so I actually left that industry and started my own public affairs and public relations firm. And I think that's something that a lot of small business owners don't really take into consideration when they're starting a business. I mean, you have those that they love what they do, like a bicycle shop or something, right? Or a real estate agent, or the local hair and nail salon. It's what they love. But I just think that there's a lot of like small business owners that decide, I'm never going to work for someone again. I'm not going to be in a position where I can't spend time with my family, or I'm going to be fired or whatever. And it's like, you look at low-hanging fruit sometimes in your community that maybe aligns to some interest, right? Like you might be intrigued by it, but it's really not your strength. It's not your personality. And it was a hard lesson to learn for myself, but it catapulted me forward to establish my independent marketing and public relations firm in a space that is something I'm good at, something I'm interested in. It's a passion of mine. And I really started succeeding in business at that point. I mean, it wasn't immediate. I don't think any business worth building is immediate. But, over the past 12 or 15 years, it's been very rewarding. And I get to do something I love every single day.
Exactly. That's very important. I mean, so many times you talk about people, or you talk to people, I mean, and they say, I mean, they hate getting up in the morning and going to work, and they hate their boss, and they hate the people they work with. And, and that's not always the case. Believe me, there are people that love their jobs, that have jobs. But, to me, to see somebody suffer in an environment that they just are not happy in, it to me, it's those are the people I want to sit down and coach. And I want to say, you know what, life is too short, man. Life is too short. Find something that you do want to wake up and do every day. And do we have, I mean, I do what I love. I love what I do. I love my clients. I have got my client base now to where I don't really have any issues. I don't have those days. Yes, there's technology issues and there's situational issues and stuff. But for the most part, my life is pretty calm. I do what I love to do. I love helping my clients, and I wear the title of their quote unquote bookkeeper, or quote unquote their business coach, but I do so much more, and I get to know them as human beings, and that's what I really love doing. So there's really not much I won't try to do to help one of my clients. But I have had those jobs over my lifetime where the moment the alarm goes off in the morning, you get a headache. You're driving to work, the headache gets worse. You start to walk into the door, and now it's a full-blown migraine that you got to deal with all day because you're not in the place you want to be. You're not around the people you want to be around. You don't feel valued, or you don't feel like this is where you need to be. And so many times you get stuck in that because of, maybe they have a great 401k, which nobody does nowadays, but, they have a great 401k, or they have insurance benefits, or they have something. You can't walk away from X number of dollars that helps feed your family. But I'm here to tell you, your mental health and your well-being, you know what? I can be happy and eat ramen every day and feel better about my life than to be unhappy and eat caviar every day.
But you know what you're talking about, that's not only people who are working employed by somebody else, even small business owners right
Exactly.
now. In the last couple of years, as hard as it has been, myself included in this, there are a lot of us that are reevaluating
Mhm.
because the thing that was our passion and was our love is now our torture.
Yeah.
And how do you, and it's because we let people, oh, of course I'll do this, because you have that expectation of, I've got to make money. I've got to keep going. I've got to take every single job, even if I absolutely hate it and can't stand the people that I'm working with.
Mhm.
And like Trapper pointed out earlier, that's where that, firing of clients. You're not interviewing me anymore. I'm going to be interviewing you. And it's okay as a small business owner to hit that and have that. I need to shut down, because I have shut down this year. All of 2022 started as, because of an injury, I'm shutting down, but I'm writing out the rest of the year because I'm not going to go back at it the same way anymore.
Yep.
I needed to redefine what my business
Yes.
for me is, because it's my
Mhm.
business.
And it's your sanity, it's your well-being,
Exactly.
it's your mental health, it's you as a person and how you live your life, how you interact with the people around you. If you're married, your spouse; if you have children, your children; if you have friends,
Mhm.
how are you interacting around them, and how are you living your life? I mean,
Mhm.
if you have to come home from any job or business and you feel like this burning desire to get drunk in order to forget your day, then maybe
Maybe it's time for a change.
it's not where you need to be.
Mhm.
And so many people stay and they get stuck and they think, well, I don't want to disappoint my clients, or I don't want to feel like a failure, or I don't want to. There's a list that goes on and on and on and on of I don't want this and I want this, and but ultimately, how you feel as a human being and how you get through life and how you deal with everything that life hands you.
Mhm.
Does it take some courage to open your own business? Absolutely it does. But you know what, like we say in our tagline, you have to have the courage to get through life, but the crazy is what helps us survive it.
Mhm.
And that's what, if you don't, you got to do more than just get through life. You gotta enjoy it. You gotta have that crazy time and those crazy friends and those releases, that make it fun. That those are the memories. I
Mhm.
mean, because ultimately, Teresa, you and I know, especially given the fact that we're parents who have lost children.
Yes.
The whole memories are what make it all,
It
and
is.
if you're building good memories with your clients, if you're building good memories with your business partners, like in this scenario with the three of us,
Mhm.
if we're building those memories, if we can sit down at night and have a group text that might be 26 of them before you find your phone trapped, that's
Yeah.
okay. But you know what happened when you read those text messages? I bet you were smiling.
I laughed and laughed and laughed. I was like, damn, I missed a whole bunch of craziness.
Right. And so that's what life's truly about. I mean, it isn't about, whether or not I'm the greatest or making the most money or whatever. Yes, I want to feed my family and I want to keep a roof over my head and I want to drive a car and I want to have all those things. But I also want to have the balance that says, you know what, in the middle of my day, when one of my best friends and now my business partner says, let's talk random shit because I have an idea of what I want to do, and I start talking random shit, it busted up my day. It was so much fun. It was, and that's what life is truly about, because when we look back on what Teresa created from those spontaneous random shit that happened yesterday, I will forever laugh and I will forever hold that memory of what that one conversation that lasted through all those texts and what it meant to me during that moment in my life and that day. And I may not remember how much money I made in 2020. I may not remember what car I was driving or how much my car payment was, but you know what, 20 years from now, when I hear someone say, let's talk random shit, I'm going to remember
Remember
what
that.
happened yesterday in that conversation. And those are the things that make business life, that make your whole life, that make who you are. Those are what gives it meaning. It's, you know,
It's the fun.
it's the fun. It's the crazy.
It is the
It's
crazy.
the crazy. I mean, without crazy, life is nothing. I mean,
No.
you can have all the courage in the world to get through life, and so many people do. I mean, there's stories that we're going to hear as part of doing these podcasts that are going to just tear my heart to pieces and make me cry. I know, because I'm going to
done.
clearly
Done crying.
understand the level of courage it takes for them to walk that path in their life. But without adding some crazy and spontaneity and some fun, I mean, I don't know how anybody gets through this thing called life. I just don't.
Well, and mine yesterday, that was just because I didn't want to scroll 500 miles through text messages, because when we do get going, it is, rapid fire. Although I was worried about Trapper when he was absolutely not.
I know. We were worried about you, Trap. I'm
my
like,
first
"Ew."
thought was, oh my God, is he okay?
Out of the store with something I was wearing
Right.
for
I mean, I was thinking surely he's probably in jail, and seriously, almost were.
I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
but I have the story, the very first story of the purple fuckers and getting married. It was like, did something happen bad to Trapper? Were there purple fuckers involved again? Oh my God, I'm
There were no
panicking.
purple fuckers involved. I
Okay.
was not around any best friends to marry.
Okay, good.
Whew.
Thank goodness.
I was being very serious, just killing some time, and what did they say? YOLO. You only live once.
Yeah.
Totally lived on the edge.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, what is a day without almost being arrested? Seriously. I mean, what sort of day is it if you can't say, I was almost arrested today? Right?
Right. By the time I felt like I should call my other half and be like, just in case you see me on the front page of the newspaper, couldn't find my damn phone.
Okay, I've never been almost arrested any day.
But I like what you said about how you business coach your clients, and I think that sometimes we are hesitant to seek that assistance and support, and sometimes it's an expense that we feel we can't afford. And I know when I left the one industry I hated and decided to be, this robust publicist. I actually did use a local business coach. I hate the bitch. And Cheryl, I hate that bitch. Like, there's a word for her, and I'm not going to use it because it's inappropriate.
You already did.
No, it's
There's worse.
bad.
There's
There's a
worse.
worse word. We all know.
We
Move
can't
on.
use it. My mother will know that it's being talked
I'm
about.
still on the email list. I get it like once a day, and I'm just like, really? A reminder that I hate you. But she was very valuable to me. I went into being like, I'm going to be a publicist for everybody.
Right.
And, one thing she really helped me was really defining, what is my target market? What is my demographic? What am I, to say marketing is such a broad term. And
It
you know
is.
that shit.
Oh, yeah. It's
Mhm.
huge.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you say advertising this day and age, it didn't used to be broad. Now advertising is so damn broad. Like, can you please be specific?
Right.
And
Exactly.
so she really helped me fine tune what was my target demographic? What was my value? What's my value statement? What's my value proposition to potential clients? What is my reputation? What do I want that reputation to be? How do I build that reputation? And I think sometimes we're really super scared because if we're using a business coach, it's almost like, I know for myself, it was like almost self-admitting that I'm already an epic fucking failure. And you know what?
That's
though?
like going to
I was
counseling.
smart
Like,
and blessed.
so many people
I
won't
did
go
it
to
early
counseling
on.
because of that.
Yeah.
I did it early on. I didn't wait until I was in business like 15 months and be like, this isn't working. Like, I did that shit immediately. But I still felt like I was self-admitting, okay, I'm a little bit of a fucking failure already because I can't even define this for myself. But all it took is someone who had that experience themselves and who probably failed several times. And we know that bitch failed a lot. But it took that mentorship to help me focus. And so I just want to say to our listeners, our audience, never feel afraid to reach out to Cheryl or myself or Teresa. A good business coach listens. A good business coach understands. A good business coach is not your saving grace in business, but will help guide you to go forward strategically. You know, on one episode, we talk about people marketing and are buying ads, and are they even getting a return on that investment of advertising? Well, no, because they're not even tracking it. But you can go broke advertising. And who are you advertising to? So I just want our audience to know that never be afraid to reach out to a business coach.
So I
It's okay.
gotta tell you guys a story about advertising. This just happened a few days ago. Okay, so I got a voicemail. I was on the phone, saw a call come in, couldn't get off the call I was in. Listened to the voicemail message, and it's this lady, and she said, you know, her name, and she said, I'd like to meet with you and have some coffee or something. I want to talk to you about this publication I'm doing, and I have about 3,000 homeowners in Sierra Vista, and, you know, and I understand we have mutual friends, and she rattled off a couple of names of friends that one of them is a good friend, one of them is an acquaintance, you know. So I kind of thought that was a little bit odd because the acquaintance, I've never known him to refer me or use my name. So, but I thought, you know, out of curiosity, I'm going to give this woman a call. So I call her.
And anyone who's not referring Cheryl Oliver is a fucking asshole.
Well, thank you, Trap. So anyway, I literally called her back and I talked to her, and she says, oh yeah, I do this publication, and you know, I have these 3,000. She repeated that about the 3,000 homeowners and stuff. And I'm thinking, what does a bookkeeper business coach have to do with homeowners? But I didn't voice it. I just let her go through her whole spiel. And then she said, yeah, you know, I was in, and she mentioned the name of a local coffee shop. She goes, I was in that coffee shop the other day, and I saw your card on the wall, and then I started asking people about you. And then the light bulb went off that this woman created a whole bogus bullshit story to get to me. She probably found me on Google, and that's okay. I mean, you could have just said that to me. But she made this whole bogus bullshit story. So I stopped her in her tracks. And I said, you know, that's very, very funny. Because I have never, and I mean never, been in that particular coffee shop. I said, as a matter of fact, lady, I don't even drink coffee. She goes, well, I don't know. I must have gotten your card from somebody else then. And I must have, well, I'm sure I found, maybe it wasn't there. So she was trying to continue to live this lie of this bullshit story. Mm-hmm. And I told her, she goes, well, it really doesn't matter. Maybe I'm confused about where I first got your card and where I heard about your business and everything. She goes, but, you know, let's meet for coffee. And I'm like, bitch, I just told you I don't drink coffee. You know? So, you know, I mean, there's a prime example of somebody who obviously hates her damn job. I mean, if you like your job and you are truly in the advertising realm, whatever you're selling, whatever marketing you're selling, whatever it is, and you truly think that that is something that will help my business, then just friggin' be honest with me. Call me up and say, hey, you know, I'm new to this whole advertising sales stuff, and I'm just Googling local businesses in the area. I saw your name, and I was just wondering if maybe we could meet and have some coffee. Now, I'm not saying I don't ever go into a coffee shop. You know, if somebody was honest to me, I would have went to that coffee shop and had a cup of tea or some iced tea, and I would have met with her. But I caught her in this whole very elaborate lie of how she heard about me. And not only did she lie about how she got my business card, she brought one friend and one acquaintance into the lie. And I'm like, what? You know, and I said to her at the end, I said, well, I'm not scheduling anything right now because, of course, you and me and Trapper, the three of us had not planned our podcast schedule yet anyway, so I didn't want to schedule a bunch of stuff. And then I'm like, I thought about it before I got off the phone. I'm still listening to her spiel. And I said, you know, I just honestly don't think I'm interested. I said, when you are able to call a local business owner and speak some truth, call me.
Yeah.
Call me.
But how many calls a day do you get?
I mean,
or how many calls a week do you get?
Total bogus bullshit. You know, I mean, not that I haven't posted my card on some bulletin boards in some places. I'm not saying that, but I know I've never been in that particular, and I'm not saying anything bad about that particular coffee shop because I have heard wonderful things about that particular coffee shop. It's just like, I don't even really go to coffee shops because I'm not a coffee drinker.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I meet clients at them and, sit and drink some
They're
tea.
great for meetings.
Yeah, they're great for meetings. I just had not personally been in there. So I just don't, to me, that's just a prime example of the bullshit that new business owners are going to be pulled into. Like they'll go, well, if so and so did it, they're throwing out names.
Mhm.
They're throwing out names that she probably did a social media search of me and saw that those two people are
Yep.
friends of mine on social media.
Oh, yeah.
So she basically stalked me to create a fabrication with the hopes that I would advertise with her.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would much rather just you call me up and say, hey, I saw that you're a local business. I'm also a local business owner and I'm doing some advertising. Can we
Mhm.
sit down and bullshit? I would have been like, absolutely. Let me help your business.
My personal favorite story, and we're gonna have to wrap up here because wow, we're good at this. But being the photographer, being the videographer, being the person who does what I do, the day that I get the phone call of, and God love the photographer for going old school, trying to drum up business. They decided they're new, they're gonna go on a calling campaign targeting businesses.
Right?
I can help you with all your photography needs.
Did she not read the name of your business?
I'm thinking to myself, and I said it out loud. It's like, God love you. You're in the weeds. You're going old school with this. You're gonna pound the pavement to try and drum up business. And God love you for what you're trying to do. But did you miss the part? I am a photography business, and I'm not saying that a photographer never needs a photographer themselves,
Correct.
because we do.
Uh-huh.
You don't want to put a photographer in front of the camera because that's just,
Yeah.
that's bad. But as far as my marketing or my advertisement for my own business, I create all my own.
Right.
Because
exactly. That's what you do.
That's my wheelhouse. That's my lane, so to speak.
Right.
Okay.
That's what you do.
That's what I do. So it goes back to what and it's been topic for this podcast and others. Know your market.
Yeah. Know your market and know your doggone job.
Yeah, know your
I mean,
doggone. I mean,
know
you're
your
trying to
doggone job.
trying to drum up business, and that's great that you're cold calling and looking. I am a photographer though, so be smart about the phone calls you're making. And clock on the wall once again, Trapper. It's time for you to go ahead and talk us out of here.
Well, we would like to personally thank, with much appreciation, our listening and viewing audience. We're very grateful for you tuning in and joining us on this episode of Courage and Crazy.